So let me switch into English. Welcome again to Next and Innovation. And we're going to be talking about innovation. There are two professionals, and they're going to answer to a question that looks long and complicated, but I'm sure it's going to be easy for them to answer. And the question is, how can attention measurement change our frame of reference and help create a more sustainable advertising ecosystem? They're going to be answering this question. And Caroline Hugonenc, she is Global VP Insights and Research, and Vincent Legros, Head of Studio France and Belgium from Teads. Thank you very much. Welcome. The stage is yours. And give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Very excited to be here today in Madrid with you. So we are going to talk to you about the ecology of attention, which is really about how attention is disrupting our belief system, is disrupting the measurement framework that we are using, but it's also about how it makes us rethink the advertising experience to make it more engaging, to make it more respectful of the user. This is really what it is about. So the attention economy has been around for a few years now, but I think that we have made huge progresses in the last 3 years. We used to measure attention with eye-tracking glasses. I don't know if you have seen it already, which was not really scalable as a measurement. And now we can measure attention through the camera of your phone, through webcams, so we have panels that help us to scale the measurement of attention. It has really taken attention at the next level, right? And as we are able now to measure attention, so the fact that users are actually paying attention to the ads, this is possible on TV, this is possible on mobile, on desktop. Now we realize how little attention they pay to ads, right? Consumers are very good, as a matter of fact, at avoiding ads. So this is a challenge for all of us, right? And we need to be aware of it. So attention is definitely a very scarce resource. When you look at the time spent consuming media in the UK for a day, it's 5 hours, you get exposed to ads for 30% of this time, and you only pay attention as a consumer to 9 minutes of this time. So that's 1% of the time spent consuming media. So this is really, really little, as you can see, and we need to really help our advertisers to get a better share of attention from consumers. So attention is very scarce. It's also very variable, because attention is actually a means to an end, which is driving outcomes. And we have made a lot of studies on this topic on the branding side with our partner, Realize, showing that if you can improve attention for an ad by 5%, you will be able to increase the branding impact by 40%. So it's a huge, this is a huge lever for optimization. So this is for branding. For the sales part, Nielsen has conducted some work showing that attention metrics were up to 90% correlated to sales lift. And this is the reason why an advertiser like Mars has built all its pre-testing solution on attention metrics. So this is really for me, the power of attention is that we can use it as a proxy for success. And this is even more important in the times that we are in. We are, heading towards a downturn where there is a lot of pressure on advertisers to reduce the budget. So attention could be a way for them to make their budget work harder especially with the media inflation, which is also that we are in as well, right? So this is really helping them to solve this impossible equation with attention and optimizing towards attention. They can get more outcomes with the same budget. So the first way you can increase your share of attention, for me, is quite obvious, and I guess for Vincent too, is to tap into the power of creativity. And I found this project from the French artist Gia very inspiring. What he did is he took a picture from this girl that was crossing the Polish border, and he printed it on a giant tarp. He crossed the border himself. He went to this town in Ukraine called Lviv, and he installed it on a big square so that people that were flying above could see that there were people down there that needed to be protected. And this installation traveled all around the world. It has been installed in Roma recently. And for me, it's a very interesting and inspiring project because it reminds us of the power of the visual and the symbol of this little girl, but also the importance of the relevance of the context, right? The ad is placed on the square so that you can see it from above. And last but not least, it also reminds us of the importance of storytelling to connect and to make people relate with the story. And every time I listen to the news and I hear about Ukraine, I have this picture in my head, right? So this is very attention-grabbing. So coming back to the media part, the second way for me that we can increase the share of attention is by investing your budget smarter and using it as a compass in order to do this. So far, we have been using the viewability standards as a way to source quality inventory, right? Doesn't work that well anymore because we have an infinite inventory of viewable ads. And the other thing about viewability is that it can be actually very misleading. The drivers of viewability can go against attention. If you take, for example, the size of the ad, for viewability, the smaller is the ad, the better. You will have a better viewability rate. Whereas for attention, it's actually the other way around. The bigger is your ad, the more attention you will get, and the more branding impact you will get. If you take the position of the ad, this is also an interesting one. For viewability, ads that are above the fold are more viewable. For attention, it's the other way around because when users are engaged in the content, they are reading, they are spending more time, and they will pay more attention below the fold. So there's gold below the fold, as my friend Mike Follett likes to put it. So as you can see, viewability has taken us down the wrong path. And we are ending up with sites with small ads on the page, but a lot of clutter. And this is not serving your brands, this is not helping to get attention. So that's where and that's the reason we feel that we need to evolve. Moreover, attention is a much better predictor of success than viewability. We have been partnering with Dentsu on their attention economy study, and we found that attention is 3 times better at predicting outcomes in terms of branding. And when you look on the sales side, Nielsen is also showing that attention metrics were up to 180% more correlated with ROI. So that's a very good reason to use attention as a compass. But for me, it's much more than shifting from one metric to another. The reason is because attention is really measuring a human behavior. So it's really putting the user back at the center, where viewability was more like a technical metrics an ad-centric metrics. So that's the first big difference I see. And with viewability, we had this impression that the inventory was infinite, where in reality, we only have 24 hours a day. We have a finite resource of attention, so we need to be cognizant of that. What is interesting also with attention is that it's not only a metric that helps us to understand the quality of the media, it's also helping us to assess the quality of the creative. And we have done a lot of work with the studio team on this topic, so we'll see some examples in the presentation. And last, attention can be used within digital, but this is also more and more used outside. You have a panel for TV in the UK, which is in progress. It's already existing in the US with TVision. It's also a metric that can be used for out-of-door digital advertising. So this is becoming a cross-devices metric that we can use to assess the quality of media. So we have done a lot of work on attention in the last 5 years, working on the creative side, on the media side, and what we found is that there are 4 levers that you can pull in order to increase your share of attention. The first is about the quality of the media. This is really fundamental because attention doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? There's always at the root an engagement of the user with the content. So that's where quality publishers come into play, right? Because they have a very strong user engagement, a lot of time spent on their side. So this is driving attention to ads. The second is about the ad experience and whether the ad is forced or non-forced. So this is about the quality of attention that you will get. And depending on the way you are engaging with the user, you will have very different outcomes. The third is about relevance and whether or not your ad is interesting for the user. And that's where targeting comes into play. And the last one, which Vincent is going to talk about, is about the creative itself. We have done a lot of work showing that by optimizing ads for attention, we can drive a lot of lift in terms of impact for brands. So coming back to the first lever, the quality of media, we have done a lot of work with Havas on our publisher environment. And what we found is that when you look at the top 25 domains in the open web and you compare it to the bottom 25, there's a ratio of 11 when you look at the attention paid to ad for display and a ratio of 5 for video. So that leaves you a lot of room for optimization for your media plan. And quality publishers that are on the top 25 are definitely a way for you to turbocharge your media plan. So when you look at the attention paid to ads on average in different types of environment, you will see that on Teads, when we compare to our category, the outstream category, we are able to generate 60% more attention thanks to the work of our publishing team, which is curating publishers and really making this selection of publishers for the Teads platform. When you look at news in particular, news is the best performing environment in terms of attention. This is what we found in the Trinity project. And this is, for us, obviously very interesting because we have a lot of brands that are pushing back on news because they feel it's not an environment that they can advertise on. But in reality, that's where you will have the most attention in news environment. And when you compare with social media, we have twice more attention on Teads and 3 times more attention on news publishers when you compare to social media. Just because, again, of the engagement of the user with the content. So looking at the second lever, which is the ad experience, when you leave to the user the choice, then you will reap the reward, right? Because when you are not forcing users to watch, you will generate a higher impact in terms of bond lift. So this is what we found in the Dentsu Attention Economy study. And you will need less time to achieve the same results compared to an ad like a non-skippable pre-roll where you are forcing the user to watch, right? So you are saving time to the user and saving time for the environment. What is interesting also is to find and strike the right balance between grabbing attention and the user experience and the respect of the user experience. So we have done some research recently comparing ourselves with Facebook and TikTok in Germany for a Ralph Lauren campaign. And what we found is that Teads was the best performing format in terms of brand linkage, so the association of the ad and the brand, but also the less intrusive, right? So this is interesting because the ad was captivating the user, but still perceived as less intrusive as on TikTok or Facebook. So this is really what we are working on with the studio team, trying to strike the right balance between the impact, the user experience. That's really the challenge for us. On the relevance, so the way we are using this lever is really thanks to the integration with our publishers, we are able to understand the context where the ad is placed. So we are able to get signals from the page to understand what is the article about. In this case, it's an article about finance. It's an article about environment. And so that's the reason why we deliver an ad on an hybrid car, right? So this is for us a way to understand what is interesting for the user, and we are using these signals to deliver an ad which corresponds to that. And by doing so, we can increase attention, but also increase significantly the branding impact when you compare ads that are contextually relevant and ads that are not. There's a big difference, 135% when we compare the two on brand lift. Moving on to the creative part with Vincent.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Okay. So as you saw, 4 levers to drive more share of attention, creative being a big part of it. What we do at Teads, we're not a creative agency, so we don't produce content. But however, what we want to make sure is that the content that is going to be live on premium publisher websites has been optimized for premium publisher websites. And what we have seen during all of our research is that when we took the original asset from the client and we compare our Teads formats optimized for the premium publishers, we have a boost of attention of almost 50%. And this boost of attention will then lead also to brand uplift. So for example, here, plus 38% of ad recall. So really optimizing for the platform is always a great way to generate more attention. And when we talk about optimization, this is a very simple example, but to show you that it will help boost your attention. So here, this is an example we've done for Lacoste. So at the bottom, you have the original assets. On the top, what we've done with the studio team. So it's just a little footer, at the bottom with the clear logo of the brand, the code, a pack shot, a call to action. And when we've done this, as you see at the very beginning of the ad, so this is a test that we've done with Realize. So they measure attention quality and attention volume with facial coding technologies. And we see we have a boost of attention at the very beginning. And thanks to this boost of attention, because we have introduced the brand, the product very early on, the attention doesn't go back down, and it's always higher than the attention that we have on the original assets. So really, sometimes simplicity can lead to great results. And another thing that we have found is duration of the video is also really important, because the longer the video, the less attention quality you will have. Here we've done the test with a 20 seconds versus a 15 seconds, and it seems really in our platform, 15 seconds is the sweet spot. And if we look at the ecology of attention, our big topic today is that what we've noticed now, because we have the ability to measure the carbon footprint of your campaign. And what we've seen is the longer the ads you will run on our platform, the more carbon emissions you will emit. And so what we see here is going with shorter edits will help drive more attention to your ad, but it's also good for the planet because you will emit less attention. Here we have a ratio of 3 times more carbon emission if you go live with a 30-second ad versus a 6 seconds. So I think this is a new also paradigm that we need to keep into consideration, is what will be the carbon impact of my campaign, and does it make sense with all this attention study that we can now measure. Another thing that we have done at Teads, on top of optimizing video assets, is we've also created a lot of, as you see here, display formats. We wanted to bring a little bit more excitement to banner ads, because banner ads have been, they're always the same, a visual, a call to action. They're everywhere on the open web and no one notices them. So what we try to do is always think of mobile functionalities. So scrolling, swiping, tapping on the screen, because the mobile phone is something very tactile. And all our display ads, when we run our research on attention, we discover that it will generate 360% more attentive seconds versus a standard display units. So also being creative with your display formats will help generate a lot more attention. And so what we do for our clients, what we love to do is having a very agile, flexible approach to optimizing content. And that's why we've started doing what we call the Teads Studio Atelier. And this is just a simple workshop. You have here the agenda. It's half a day. And in half a day, we create all the Teads formats for the client. The client is present, his creative agency is present, their media agency is present as well. And the idea is really bring all the expertise around the table, discuss, collaborate, and create beautiful formats. Here you see you'll see some nice example of what we've done for some clients. These were atelier formats that were awarded when we did a Teads Awards Grand Prix. And so you see, when we do atelier, we will always mix video formats integrated with display, engaging, and playing with mobile functionalities. So this is a nice Samsung example where to start the video, the user had to do a little interaction. So how do you keep him engaged and retain his attention the longer? Here you see other examples for this brand. And really, we've seen that collaborating brings better creatives that then leads to better attention. And to make sure that we can, how do we make sure that what we do works from a campaign-to-campaign basic? There are 2 things that we can do now, thanks to the marvelous innovations of technology. First of all, this one is super exciting, is we can now use artificial intelligence, machine learning to understand what are the visual driver of the ads and what can we learn from this. So here you have a Chanel example. So we plugged it into our tech. The machine learning is going to detect the pack shot, the talent, if it's day, night, what's happening, etc. And we ran a pilot for a lot of beauty campaign. And these are the kind of insights that we can get from machine learning and artificial intelligence. And what's great about it is it gives you real actionable insight that you can then take into consideration for your campaign. For example, we've known since the beginning of advertising that adding people in an ad is going to help boost engagement. But now with machine learning, what we've done with this pilot, we realized that if you have a human presence from 60% to 90% of the duration of the ad, you will get better results than if you have less than 60% of human presence. We saw also that if you have your product present for less than 30%, it's more engaging. We saw that playing with a black color, so commercials that take place at night. I don't know if you've seen this Channel 5 commercial. It takes place on the moon at night. These are the kind of assets that really works well for to drive more results. Also, how the talent is going to be dressed. And also, if you put less promotional message, the user is going to be more engaged. So really, these kind of learnings are quite fantastic to help also creative agencies build better content. And what we're also doing is we don't dismiss consumer insights because this is really important. And so we have developed a way of quickly measuring what we've done with our studio team, so the optimizations versus the original assets, and we work with Kantar. We're going to recruit a panel of people. Each panel is going to be divided into sub-panels, and each sub-panel is going to review one of the ads that we have produced plus the ad from the client, and then they will answer a questionnaire, and this questionnaire will then help us understand what our studio team has brought to the table versus the client's format. So here you have an example that we've done in Japan. We've had like these three formats, and you see versus the original assets, we have more ad recall, more brand linkage, and this is great to understand, attention. So there is a lot of question about does this ad has caught my attention? So yes, no, and we can really understand if our job has brought more attention and then more results for our clients. And now I'm going to show you some nice innovations that we think are really interesting especially in the open web. We're starting to work a lot with augmented reality, because augmented reality technologies now have evolved in the past 2 years drastically. Before, if you wanted to play with augmented reality, 3D models, these kind of things, these were very, very heavy files. So heavy files, a lot of carbon emissions, so not very great for the environment. But now we have developed technologies where you can take a piece of fashion, for example, a bag, you shoot it in 360, and you can modelize a 3D model, and this 3D model can be less than 2 megabytes. And you can create this kind of formats where the users, in premium publisher website, can interact with the bag, and so almost feel the bag, see it in every angle, change the colors, and then view it in augmented realities. And when we ran this with our Kantar methodology to understand if it works better or not than a classic video format that we were used to do, what we see are the results are fantastic. We have more ad recall, we had much more brand linkage, and which is great is the time that the user are spending on the ad. We're talking here about 25 seconds. On Teads, the average is 10 seconds roughly of time spent on the ad. So really we'll double the time. So that's why, when we talk about attention, we also like to talk about retention. Is, okay, you caught my attention, and now how long I'm going to spend on the ad. And augmented realities is really, really great for this. What we've seen also is, virtual try-on is a big trend. You can do virtual try-on a lot on Snapchat, on big social platform, and now we're offering the same kind of offers, and we feel that bringing try-on to premium publisher environments, it's kind of looking at, back then when you were reading Marie Claire magazine or Elle magazine and you found an ad with a little sample. This is kind of the same thing in digital. So you're on Elle.com, you're seeing an ad, and you can try these new Balenciaga shoes. So that's really great, and we see a lot of research saying that virtual try-on will help drive purchase intent. So really exciting about this. There are also, a lot of new functionalities that we can put together. For example, this one, we integrated the user camera phone into a 3D model of the camera of the new Samsung to show how the flex cam is working and to show all the possibilities that the user will have with this phone. So pardon my face, I was a hangover this day when I did this. But really, really great new features that we can bring to the table to offer new experiences for the users. And really, AI are best to increase retention because you're going to keep the user interested doing fun experiences. For example, in fashion, what we can do now, we can shoot the actual model wearing like the latest, summer, spring collection, and you can have her appear in your living room. So a catwalk in your living room by clicking on an ad on Vogue.com. For cars also, it's fantastic. You can see the car in your environment. You can customize it. You can go inside, outside. You can do mini games like this one where you're Spider-Man and you have to catch some spider bots before they get you. So lots and lots of things that are possible. And every time, like for example, this ad, the Honda one, we had 43 seconds of dwell time. So again, fantastic way, augmented reality to catch the attention. And what we're trying to do is also tell our clients to think about augmented reality in an omni-channel way, so putting augmented reality everywhere. You can put it on DOH now with little QR code. You can put it on your social post. You can put it on premium publisher, and you can also put it now on TV. We're also offering now in a few markets a CTV offering, because CTV is great because you have your ad displayed on a very, very big screen. So when you're, for example, for a luxury brand, it's always a fantastic new tool to play with. In terms of creative, is great because here the sound is on, your creative is beautifully on the screen, so for sure you catch the attention. However, what is the challenge on an ad on TV, being a regular TV or connected TV, is that when the ad is displayed, I'm going to take my phone and do something else. But that's why what you can do is, and this is a great example, is you can add little QR codes on your ad so that the user take his phone, scan the code, and here, for example, this is what we did for Cartier. You have the 3D models that appears on the phone of the user while the ad is playing. So it's a great way to capture all of the screen of the users at once. And we've seen, these are a few examples that I would love to show you.
I think we are over time, Vincent.
And they're not working. I don't know if you've seen this Disney one, but you can watch a Disney short film, and if you watch it with your phone, the whole living room is going to be augmented with nice little drawings. So lots of possibilities with AR. Sorry, Caroline.
Thank you. Very short, to close. So we have an attention program that we launched in June, where we are proposing to brands to measure attention with us. We have a partnership with Hugonenc, so we are able to report an attention on live campaign, which is really exciting, and we do also a lot of creative tests with the studio. So come to us if you are interested. We are able to do a lot of studies also to understand how much attention you need for your ad. And just to finish, as you can see, attention is a great way for us to align the three Ps of the triple bottom line, because by placing the user at the center, you can really create a sustainable ecosystem where you have more budget for premium publishers, more effectiveness for brands, and less wastage of time and energy for the planet. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for so many insights. Black is the color.
Yes.
Thank you. It has been